seeing the value of family fun is very important to us. And I've always wanted a mini, so I'm kind of excited that they're here. I know, they're super cute. All right, so one of the things that Mini is all about is doing more of what matters. So my first question for you guys is, how do you make sure that you're doing more of what matters with your kids? Taylor.
I can go.
All right, Shannon.
Family dinner is hugely important to us, and what matters is really connecting with my kid and hearing about her day, and I think it's the little things that really are the big things that you might not recognize in the moment. So, we try and do that almost every day. Like, it's an aberration when it doesn't happen, and just that time to sit down and relax and hear about the peaks and the pits and everything in between really gives us an idea too of what matters to her and more of what she's needing from us and what's going well in her world.
All right, Taylor, try your mic now.
So I think the way that we do more of what matters is by actually trying to commit to fewer things. So we do more by kind of almost doing less. We don't overcommit ourselves. It's something that's hard. It's easy to try and do the swim lesson. I have very young children, so trying to do the swim lessons and the soccer and the hockey and this, that, and the other, and by the time you get home from all these things, you've not actually spent any time together. And some of our favorite moments are when we're unplanned or doing something, just hanging out together, and we're having more time together. And so we really try and don't overcommit ourselves, and we end up getting a lot more family time that way.
And Jason, I'll ask you too. Your family's growing from 3 to 4 soon, so how do you do that?
We have a toddler and we have another one coming in June, so like all families, we're pretty busy, but my husband has a structured work schedule, and I think that actually works to our advantage, because when we know, okay, he's taking a day off work, we're going somewhere fun. Like, we have a plan, and so like on our last day off together, we went to the Shedd Aquarium and we had a really great time.
All right, so that leads into my next question. In Chicagoland, we are so lucky that there's so much you can do with your kids, with your family. If you have family coming in from out of town, there's so much to do. What are some of your favorite places to spend time with your family? Go ahead, Shedd.
All right, so we're big nature lovers in our house, and seems like our son is too. So there's a park called Indian Boundary on the north side. We spend a ton of time there. A place called Emily Oaks in Skokie, which is a nature center. You can see wildlife there, and it's a whole lot of fun. So, Shannon?
I actually asked my team to get her opinion, and we all agreed, which is awesome. Millennium Park is a big hit for us. Really, any time of year, there's a ton going on there, and a lot to see and do. And I love the concerts, and you can get culture and outdoor time, and fantastic people out there. And then we are actually out in the suburbs, so the Naperville Riverwalk is a really fun family spot for us that has never let us down in terms of fun and outdoor time.
Taylor, go ahead.
We're actually big neighborhood hoppers, so we like to go to a neighborhood. We're in the city, so we like to go into the neighborhood and walk around. So Andersonville, Lincoln Square, Wicker Park, Bugtown. We like to actually just go get restaurants, see the sights, go into shops, go to the play places, do it, the museums. There's a ton of tiny little museums spread all through the city, like the Swedish Museum or the National Museum of Mexican Art. There's tons of these little tiny, very doable things, and all within these great neighborhoods that you can spend an entire day.
And one of the things I think is great about a lot of these places is that they're free, which is a huge deal.
Yes.
So that's one of the things. Even some of the bigger places like Shedd Aquarium or Museum of Science and Industry have free days, and that's a great thing to take advantage of. I know Shannon's written a few things for us about how to do that without losing your mind, so that's good.
There's an art, and don't go in blind.
So ChicagoParent.com, check those out. You can do a little gaming ahead of time. So my family, we just came back from a road trip to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and since we're at the car show, it seems fitting that we talk a little bit about getting out on the road with your family. So what are some of your favorite road trip destinations?
We did a road trip to Maine from Illinois and hit 9 cities in 7 days and 2,000 miles. And I'll confess, I was apprehensive at first. That just seemed like a lot. And it was the best time. We just had a ball, and it was great to do the whole Northeast and to do mountains and have lobster by the shore in Maine and everything in between. So I feel like it doesn't get a ton of press in terms of destinations, but loved it. Would highly recommend.
Beautiful up there. Here, Giselle, I'll let you use my mic. Go ahead. What about you?
So one of our favorite spots is Holland, Michigan, and they have a Tulip Fest each spring, and that's where my husband proposed, so very special.
Sentimental attachment.
Near and dear to my heart. And so we haven't been back with our little one yet, but they have a lot of family stuff. They have Dutch pancakes, clog dancing, fireworks, so we're really looking forward to a family trip when we're a family of 4.
And what about you, Taylor?
I'm also a Western Michigan road trip fan. We recently went to Saugatuck, which is right next to Holland, and it was just a really great time. We stayed right in town. You can really walk places and do a ton of stuff, and it was a really great trip.
And I'm going to ask you, Taylor, since you have 2 pretty young kids, how do you do that without losing your mind? What are some tips for road trips with kids?
Feed them first and hope they nap. Plan around the sleep schedules and just make sure they'll eventually fall asleep, and that's the only thing. And letting them choose as much as they can. I mean, I've got a baby, so she doesn't have much agency, but as much agency as you can give the kids when you're packing for the, what activities would you like to do, and let them actually pack it, and they'll actually be excited that they chose what they're doing. And it goes for airplanes too, but and only getting out one toy at a time. Don't give them all the toys at once, because they'll get bored of them all at once. Just slow trickle of activities is really the key.
And Shannon, what would you say with older kids? You obviously have a teenager at home. To keep it fun.
The sound system is your best friend. And when we went to Maine, we actually had not yet listened to Hamilton, so we did the whole soundtrack there and back, and all fell in love with it, and that was great. But audiobooks, I think, are a really great way to share an experience as a family. Even if you've read Harry Potter, the Harry Potter audiobooks are a remarkable experience. And the time will fly by for everybody. You'll experience it in a whole new way, and it's kind of cool to be unplugged and all doing the same thing.
So here's another question. Just where do you even look to find, like you were mentioning, these little hidden museums or play places. Where do you guys find this stuff?
Chicago parents, of course.
Always.
Yes, I maybe told them to say that. Any other, are you looking just at stuff in your neighborhoods, or?
Yeah, I found a lot of stuff just by really, the neighborhoods are really defined, so I sometimes just stumble on a lot of stuff. My biggest secret is to make friends with someone with a kid a few years older than yours, because they've had 3 to 5 years extra time, and so they put in the legwork, and then you can pass it on to the people who are younger, who have younger kids than you. So I found out a lot of things through parents with kids just a few years older than mine.
Yeah. What about you, Josanna?
One of my favorite spots to find activities is libraries. They always have, a spread of brochures, and I feel kind of old school paper, and it's not digital, but I find so many great things there, and a lot of them are free or low cost, which is great for me and for a lot of other parents.
And going on what you said about free stuff, the libraries have amazing free passes, both in the city and the suburbs, so just even seeing what they have available can give you new ideas and save you money at the same time.
And a lot of the libraries have programs happening too. I know Morton Grove Public Library almost always is having an animal show or a concert or something happening, and they're free, which we love.
Win-win.
Yeah. And then I guess just sort of if each of you could share some favorite memories, at least one that you have made as a family. When you think about things that matter, what's one that's especially meaningful?
There's a lot. It's hard to narrow it down. But one thing that came to my mind was we did a road trip to Niagara Falls, and when we were on the Maid of the Mist, my daughter was looking and yelling at the top of her lungs to her over the falls, "This is awesome!" But to be somewhere new that we'd never been experiencing it together before, completely unplugged and just kind of in awe of nature, was a really special moment.
So my son is turning 2 this week, and so it's kind of bringing back like a lot of memories. And so it is hard to narrow it down, but one that jumps out is we did Brookfield Zoo, and it was one of our first outings as a family, one of our bigger adventures together. And it was where he said his first word, which was mama. Mama! So that was a fun one. And then some of the animals didn't really register because they were kind of far back or just kind of lying down. But when he saw the horses running around, he just lit up with excitement, and so I'll always remember that.
One of my favorite memories is actually we were riding the L, and it was a few days after the Cubs had won the World Series, and the train was pretty full, and my son was probably a little over the age of 2, and so we pulled up to Addison, which is the Cubs stop, and he was facing towards the stadium, and the Cubs logo came by, and he literally, unprompted, just went, "Go Cubs!" and started singing, "Go Cubs, go!" and the whole train started joining in with him. And it was just a really cool way to connect with the whole city, and he's just a super duper Cubs fan, die hard. And so it was really neat for him to recognize everything and be part of the city like that.
And I'll share one too, because I just made a memory this weekend. My family and I went up to Wilmot Mountain, which is not very far, it's about an hour away, and we learned to ski. And I'm not exactly learned to ski age, but I did it with my 5-year-old nephew, and he and I learned together. He's quite a bit better at it than I am, but it was really fun, and something that I never did as a kid, so it was fun to be able to experience with the other kids, and they think they're experts now, and I'm sure they're going to be skiing fans for life. So, and plus it helps with the Olympics on. That's really hard what they're doing. That is what I've learned. So those are all of our questions. Thank you, all of you ladies, for sharing your great ideas. And I just encourage anybody, if you're looking for ways to have fun with your family, chicagoparent.com. We have an awesome calendar of all the stuff that's happening in the city and the suburbs. And then these ladies and about 7 others are constantly out and about with their kids, really doing this stuff. They're not just writing about stuff they have no idea. So they're, every day we have new content of fun things to do. So you can jump in your car and go make some memories. So thanks so much.